We got Karens losing it in the courtroom? Ah! I am shocked to see them out of their natural habitat of supermarkets, apartment complexes, and parking lots. Hey, it's Josh Saban here, America's Attorney, and I am so ready to react to this video from Karma titled 11 Minutes of Karens versus Judges. Hey, let's get started right now.
We've all heard a Karen asking for the manager in grocery stores, restaurants, fast food places, you name it. She's asked to speak to the manager of it. But what happens when a member of Karen kind is sat in front of a judge or a jury? Well, it turns into something out of a TV show. Freakouts, meltdowns, and descents into insanity. This is Karens in court, and things are about to get heated. Let's get started. Our first male Karen of the day is Daryl Brooks.
Oh, no, not Daryl Brooks. I have spent so much time watching this idiot. I cannot believe I'm reacting to him. I have like 3-4 videos on Daryl Brooks. This guy is the worst. All right, let's see it, Daryl. What do you got for us?
Who, in the most Karen way possible, defends himself in court and tries to be clever with the judge, thinking he knows how to do her job better than the judge herself, but she's having none of it, and puts him comfortably in his place.
All right, thank you. The jury can come on out.
I was told to pay for something under a civil statute.
Mr. Brooks, I am not the custodian. Bring it up with the clerk of court.
How
I'm not
can I bring
addressing
it up
it.
with the clerk of court? How am I supposed to do that? So that makes me wonder if it's a
Mr.
civil
Brooks,
case.
the jury's coming out. I'm not going to address your request for open records. I'm not the custodian of the records, sir.
Who's being sued? My Sesty Trust is being sued?
Mr. Brooks, this is an irrelevant matter that you're attempting to bring up in the presence of the jury. The record should reflect these interruptions.
Before the jury came out, Your Honor.
And I told you I wasn't going to address it. Please.
Okay, so it's a civil matter. Who's being sued? My Sesty Trust? Because how can I be
Mr. Brooks, you're talking about an irrelevant matter between you and the clerk of court.
It wasn't irrelevant when I got the paperwork from the clerk of courts. I was simply
Mr.
trying
Brooks,
to address it.
I'm not going to address it. The jury will
So I'm
disregard
being
these
sued?
irrelevant
This is a civil
comments.
matter? We haven't addressed subject
All right,
matter
thank you,
jurisdiction yet at all
everyone.
either?
Please be seated. The jury
So
will
we're not gonna
disregard the
address subject
statements
matter?
Mr. Brooks is making about subject matter jurisdiction. They are a misstatement of the law.
Oh my word. Listen, you have to understand that the presence of the jury in the courtroom is not something that is like static and they're there from the beginning all the way to the end, okay? The jury comes in and they come out. There are lots of private meetings between the lawyers with their clients and the judge to discuss issues that should never be in front of a jury, because the jury is not getting like the whole story. They're getting a curated version of it. They're getting what the law allows into evidence. And one of the things in a criminal trial like this is, because you probably already know that Daryl Brooks killed 6 people and injured like 77 more, that one of the things that happens in a criminal trial is that the judge goes out of her way to make sure that the jury is allowed to see the defendant in the best light possible, that they don't assume that he's guilty, right? Because we have this presumption of innocence. They don't want him to be disliked by the jury. Judges want the defendant to be decided guilty or not guilty based on the evidence. But if you come into court and you act like this in front of the jury, which number one, she warned him not to do. Number two, she told him, I can't address this right now. And she warned him, hey, look, the jury's coming back in here, basically like, shut up, although she was polite about it. And then she told the jury to disregard the way that he was acting, which I agree that that's what she should do, but like, they're not gonna. What an idiot. This guy.
Yes. No,
All right,
they're not.
and
just like this is a civil case.
Mr. Brooks, the jury's here. Please
like
show
this is a civil
respect
case.
and decorum.
Okay, that's on me. I thought he was done, but he can't stop doing what he's doing.
According to this document, this is a
Mr.
civil
Brooks,
case,
please stop.
which means someone is being sued. Civil is a suit.
Mr. Brooks, you're talking about an irrelevant
I have
matter.
the
I'm
paperwork
starting the
sent by the
trial.
paper course right here that says it's a civil matter.
Mr. Brooks
So
has
what's
nothing
being
to
sued?
do with
My
this
Sesty
case.
Trust is being sued.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So, all
I got the paperwork right here.
right, I'm
How
going to
do you not
excuse
know
the
what I'm
jury
talking
right
about?
now, given this disruption.
So that was the right thing for the judge to do. The jury needs to not see this nonsense. What happens with some people when they go in front of the judge is they think that the judge is someone that they can lobby. They've seen like lawyers argue on TV or in movies, but this is not the way it is, not at all. And this judge, man, he made her work way too hard for this case.
Your attorney withdrew, so you'll have to hire an attorney?
I don't need an attorney.
You're a lawyer?
Nope.
You want to talk to me about bond with me? What do you want to tell me?
About what?
Bond?
I don't really good, to be honest with you.
That's going to cost you 30 days in the county jail for contempt. Cuff him if you got the cuffs. Hold on. It's $5,000 cash surety bond, temporary, subject to the temporary protection order.
I'm gonna pause it right there and say I've actually seen this clip in another video and I know what's about to happen, but I want to give you a little legal insight before we see this guy completely melt down and basically end up with a life sentence. The judge says, what do you want to tell me about bond? Well, the guy's already said, I don't need a lawyer, I'm just a smart kid. So he goes, okay, tell me about bond. Now, if he had a lawyer, at that point, the lawyer would make an argument about how much bond would be, such as he doesn't need a bond. He can just be out on his own recognizance. He'll come back to court, etc. He's going to play by the rules. Or, hey, he doesn't make a lot of money and he has a lot of ties to this area. He's not a flight risk. This is a first offense, yada, yada, yada. No one was injured. I mean, there's lots of arguments that lawyers make about bond. He said he didn't care to argue about bond. And then things went, man, I was gonna say they went downhill, but you know the water slides where you stand there and then they like drop the bottom out? Hit it.
He just swore at the judge. Can I give you a piece of advice?
What?
You can either make life easy or you can make life hard.
I already ruined my life.
That's 60. You want to go for 90? That's not.
Okay.
That's
That's a bunch
180.
of F-bombs.
That's 306.
That's not
I'm working at
working.
McDonald's. Now I gotta f***ing come here and f*** my life up. F*** you.
Melvin, stop.
Oh.
How many days you wanna give me now? Are you sure counting?
Melvin,
Yeah, I'm at about a year right now in
Your Honor,
contempt, so.
he's got mental problems. He's not on medication.
Ma'am, I don't care.
I don't give a
Melvin,
either.
stop.
F*** everybody. F*** you.
Melvin,
The power.
Good,
The power.
good.
Suck.
We've got a badass over here.
Wow. So that really went downhill really fast. If of all the people that could misbehave in court, this is a guy that really needs a lawyer. I mean, when his own mom is advocating that the excuse for his behavior is that he has mental problems, well, he needs a lawyer. He needs someone to advocate for him. Now, the judge is actually out of line when he says, I don't care, because if he actually has some impairment, some disability that makes him unable to act like a normal person, which it kind of seemed like he maybe did. I hope I'm not hurting anyone's feelings. The judge has to take that into consideration and can't just like pop, adding 30 days over and over and over. You can't do that. A punishment has to be reasonable, and part of the reasonable analysis is if someone has a disability which is preventing them from acting the way that they should, the judge is really going to need to take that into consideration. For instance, this guy maybe doesn't even need to go to jail at all. He maybe needs to go to a psych ward. Like actually. So he needs a finding of competency, in my opinion, before he can go serve any time based on what we've seen and the statements of his mom. Because this was, I mean, you know, I like Karma, great channel, but this guy's not a Karen. He's like someone who needs maybe an inpatient assessment.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I would like to call.
Ma'am, stop. I know you want to control this room, but this isn't Burger King. When the sign changes to Burger King, you can have it your way. Right now, this is my courtroom, and you will answer my questions. Ma'am, stop. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury? Yes or no?
Oh.
Are you going to tell the truth? All right, I'll take that as silence. I understand her attorney is on here. Where is her attorney?
Mr. J. Becker.
Again, say anything again without telling me you're going to tell the truth, and I will hold you in contempt of court for 93 days.
The reason that she said 93 days is that is the most that's allowed for something called direct contempt. Now, there's two types of contempt. There's indirect contempt, which occurs outside the presence of the judge. And let me give you an example. The judge says in a divorce case, you have to return the dog to your spouse, and you have to do it by Friday. Doesn't happen. On Monday, the lawyer for the party that wants the dog files a motion for contempt. Well, none of the dog stuff happened in the presence of the judge. So there has to be a hearing where witnesses are called and the judge makes a finding of what happened. That's indirect contempt. Requires a hearing, requires presentation of evidence. Direct contempt, like this, totally different ballgame. And I'm telling you, judges have a lot of authority. What I want to say about direct contempt is there's a limit on it because the judges have so much authority to say what did or didn't happen in their courtroom. The max in this state for what the judge can award as a punishment is 93 days, which is basically like a quarter of a year, right? It's 3 long months, although there are no 3 months that add up to 93. But 93 days or $7,500 fine. So she's obviously at her wit's end with this person, which is why I think that someone who made the video knew to turn the video camera on, because Karen started before the video started. And just to be clear, the video that we're watching right now, it's totally illegal. There's a person using a phone to record this video. This is not court TV. This is not a court monitor. You saw it just like I did. Someone's pulling their phone out. That's totally illegal in every single courtroom. You're not allowed to make a video copy without prior permission from the judge. But I think someone knew that she was about to act crazy. So, and clearly the judge is like kind of ready for this. I love her Burger King comments, and it makes me, after I shoot this video, I'm gonna go watch the Bonquiqui skit because that thing is fantastic. But she doesn't have to take the oath. She doesn't have to say, yes, I agree to tell the truth. She can stay silent, or she can say, no, I'm not gonna tell the truth. But in either of those two circumstances, she cannot speak. She can't say a word at all. So your choices are take the oath and swear to tell the truth, which obviously coming from this woman, swearing to tell the truth means zero. But if she doesn't take the oath, she just has to sit there and shut up, which I don't think is necessarily something she's that good at.
Even you don't testify to that.
An
The
application.
best you have testified to about notice is I do believe there was talks about application.
Exactly.
But I'm reading your words, right?
Exactly.
But I don't recall telling her specifically how the process
Exactly.
works.
She was on
That
notice,
is not
there's an
putting her on
application.
notice, Mr. Paulino. She's going to have to fill out a 10-page thing that asks her
That's not.
to list.
She can't go down to the condo
no,
place
Mr.
and get an
Paulino,
application.
It's not.
This is standard practice, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Paulino, you're dead wrong.
That's your opinion.
No, that's my ruling, pal. And let me tell you something, Mr. University of Miami Law School. I taught at UM for many, many years, and you right now are embarrassing us. You do not show that kind of disrespect, okay? If you don't like what the judge is doing, then you take it to the next forum. But you do not sit here and say that's your opinion like a baby when a judge rules against. Don't even utter another word. You've got a lot to learn about what it means to be a litigator and a lawyer.
I don't want to be either.
Good, because you don't have it in you. But you got a lot to learn about what it means to be a member of the Florida Bar. And if you think that this kind of petulance and babiness on your part to turn around and tell a judge who you disagree with, well, that's your opinion, is going to get you anywhere, you are sorely mistaken. If there's nothing you should have learned in the last 2 years as a law student, there's something you should have learned as a human growing up, that you do not show that kind of disrespect. You don't like it, take it to the hallway. But you do not look a judge in the face, because I don't care what you think about me. You got to respect this process. And if there's anybody who I expect to respect this process, it's a second-year law student at the University of Miami. Verdict for the plaintiff, $450 and court costs.
Wow. Okay, the ownership was real there. She really took him to task. This guy is an idiot. The judge's opinion is the ruling. Like literally, when they write out their ruling, it's called an opinion. It's the opinion and order. The idea that you would tell a judge, well, that's your opinion. Like, when the judge makes her opinion, that becomes the law. That is it. I mean, what an idiot. Basically, I was trying to see if there was a button where I could send this judge money. What? Not that I would ever like bribe a judge, but like, you know, just want to say, Keep up the good work. You know, I'm a big fan of your channel.
Yes, sir. I think it's very unfair, the marijuana law here. I think we the people deserve better because marijuana is a very harmless drug, and it's been around for ages, since the 80s and 90s.
I've heard that baloney all my life, so don't go any further on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's good or bad. All I know is
Yes, sir.
Tennessee still has it against the law. I swore to uphold the laws, and I have to uphold the laws as a judge. It probably is unfair, but I can't change it. You've got to go see the legislature to get that changed.
Yes, sir.
And if you get it changed, I'll be the happiest man in the world because I won't have to prove it. But right now, it's the law of Tennessee, and I have to enforce it. Now, if you want to plead guilty, you can today. But if you want a trial, we can give you a trial on the officer's day, which it's Officer Vincent.
Officer Vincent?
You want to fix trial day?
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fun. Then you make another 87.
No. No.
Yeah, call him. I can't give you his name and man you really need to call. But if somebody... Hey! We the people deserve better.
When this male killed...
Wow. Okay. So what we just saw there is the judge give a little mini civics lesson to this guy about the separation of powers. Now, if you took civics in 9th grade, you remember that the government has 3 parts, right? The executive branch, the legislative, and the judicial. The executive branch is to enforce the laws, right? So prosecutors, they work for the executive branch. The legislature is to write the laws, and the judges are to decide cases. Now, this judge clearly doesn't care if people, like if marijuana were to become legal, he doesn't care. But he's saying, like, my job right now is just to do the judicial function, which is to say, did you violate the law or not? And this guy is not gonna win his case. Wow. I don't think that kid remembers much of his civics lesson.
Going to be held no bond, sir, until further order of the court. Thank you.
Kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding you. That's the truth. You're not going anywhere. That's the truth. All right, thanks. All right, Suzanne Wall.
My charge was battery.
Oh, wow, I know, man. But that's the way life... What did he say? Whoa. Bring him back. Yeah, I want him back right now.
Yeah,
so what did you just say when you walked away?
I called you because you're...
Woo.
That's
did
not
you?
The charges I had yesterday.
Okay, hold on a second, sir.
Battery charge.
Sir, this court is inclined to hold you in contempt of court, and I want to know from you, give me a reason why I should not hold you in contempt of court.
I'm gonna pause it right there. I gotta say, this is a great move by the judge because, as I said earlier, the direct contempt powers of the judge are, there's really no way to check them. The judges have to check themselves. And so he's giving this guy an opportunity to either diffuse the situation, walk it back, apologize, whatever. But the judge knows what the guy said. It happened in front of him. And he's giving him an opportunity to like lessen the punishment for this contempt. This is a really classy move by presiding Judge John Hurley. Now I want to send this guy money. I wonder what his channel is.
I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be, because there's not a reason this should be here.
Okay, sir, I find you in contempt of court for using that type of language with the court you just used. And before I pass sentence on you, I'm going to ask you if you have anything to say before I pass sentence.
I apologize, I was out of line. I'm just upset because this is not what I was charged with yesterday.
Okay,
sir. I
sir.
was charged with the battery.
I accept your apology, and I will sentence you to 60 days in the Broward County Jail. Thank you.
Can I take the back in?
All right, sir, hold it. Come on back. Come on back, sir. Sir, I'm inclined to hold you in contempt of court again. Would you like to tell me why I should not hold you in contempt of court for the last thing you just said?
I asked if you're allowed to do that for me.
All right, sir. I find you in contempt of court for the second time you said that. Do you have anything else you'd like to say in mitigation of the second sentence I'm about to hand down?
I was just asking my attorney if he can do that.
All right, sir, you have nothing. I'm going to send you to another 60 days to run consecutive to the prior 60 days. So now you're up to 120 days in the Broward County Jail. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Nah.
All right, sir, thank you very much. You're done.
Why is his lawyer not jumping at him and covering his mouth? Oh my word. So this idiot, he got himself 3 sentences. He got the underlying sentence for the crime that he was charged with. Then he comes in and he draws a contempt charge. And the judge basically gives him a chance to talk his way out of it. And he doesn't do it. And instead he doubles down. He started out with 120 days for his crime. He gets 60 for the first contempt and another 60 for the second contempt. And my guess is in this jurisdiction, 60 is the max. Because you remember, the judge is kind of playing to the audience. There's a bunch of people in there, and it's really important for judges, especially in this type of small claims, small crimes type environment where the public is interfacing with the judge. They have to lay down the law. Everyone has to know. They basically have to make an example of everyone who messes around like that they're going to make an example of them. They're going to give you the max that they're allowed to give. Now, he gave him the max, which you may say, oh, that's, that's a lot. Like, that's as much as he could give. Also, if the guy, I was going to say if he made a run at the judge, physically, but that wouldn't work because that would also be a battery or an assault, so it's a separate charge. But it's the longest sentence that he can give for a contempt. And so what he does is he says, do you want to talk your way out of it? And the guy doesn't really want to talk his way out of it. Then he gives him a chance to leave, and the guy says, no, I've got to make it worse. Now, what's fascinating to me and why I backed the video up and put the word consecutive down here, which I hope you can see it, is he's saying that these 3 sentences that he now has, they don't all run at the same time. He is going to serve 240 days in the county jail. What is that? That's 8 months? They're 1, 2, 3 in a row. I mean, this guy, he deserves what he got. All right, that's it for today's video. To me, the lesson to be learned about misbehavior in court is that court is not an interaction between a normal person and another normal person. And I say this a lot, but the judge is the human manifestation of 1/3 of the government. The judge is a representative of all of the powers held in the judicial branch of the government at the time that you're talking to them. Are they a real person? Yes, but they are not there with real person powers. You think you're gonna hurt their feelings? You're just gonna end up getting punished. So dumb. So dumb. One of the things I love about this is that you get the opportunity for the power of the judiciary to be displayed so that people, they do know how to behave. Because I want people to behave, because I don't want people getting in court like this, and it's making everybody's day take longer because it looks like they got 20 cases in a row back there. What I'd like you to do right now is drop down in the comments and ask me some questions. Anything you want to ask me about these videos or what you thought about them, I want to answer. And also, get down in the comments below and tell me which one of these was your favorite, Karen, what you hated about them the most, and why. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the subscribe button for this channel, and also get over to my channel when you're done binging on this channel, because this stuff is great here. Go to America's Attorney, check it out. I've got some reactions over there. Stay tuned to this channel because we've got Karens, we've got people interacting with cops, we've got a lot of idiots. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Big verdict.